Hi there. In this video, we're going to cover Ripple, Stellar, and XCN Onyxcoin. If you're new to my sessions, I'll cover the Wyckoff stage, potential price trend change, as well as key price levels. These are education content only, not financial advice. So let's start with Ripple. Let's start with the micro view first, before we get back to the big picture. Here, we talked about the potential confirmation that comes in later in May, and we're getting closer and closer to that. April 21st, technically speaking, we still haven't passed that date, but it becomes a very stretched target. So unless something very positive happen on Monday and maybe Tuesday, depending on whether you're in Asia, Europe, or in the Americas, that's changing that within 2 days, breaking both the 1.54 green key level as well as the ceiling of the downtrend is getting closer and closer to impossible. All right. And so we fall back to the base case, looking at these two big candles over here. The range between the orange key level of 1.23 to the green key level of 1.54 is still the base case, meaning if the price continue to come down because of the Middle East situation, opening the strait, blocking the strait, right, and then reopening and then reblocking, all these sort of things still going on, that may extend this leg downwards to come to challenge in 1.35 and maybe even 1.23. Okay, this has always been the range since early February. And then that leads to either 16th of May and 31st of May that the price would either confirm option A, breaking outside of this downward channel that started way back in summer last year. Okay. And the second option is to break these support levels to test the lower support. For the case of Ripple, October 10th last year, the tariff announcement day, went to the level or the range between the blue key level of 70 cents to the purple key level of 86 cents. So where we are now is still double of that. Okay, so while we hope for the best to happen, the worst isn't over yet. Not until it exited this downtrend and we get that confirmation, the risk is still there. All right, the big picture perspective I shared before, the pessimistic review is that Ripple is entering the early stage of accumulation. We get this sideways, slightly downward movement compared to what happened over here. You see from the panic sell period back in 2022-23 accumulation cycle, there was a bit of sideways when the panic over stage kicked in. And then we've got the automatic rally, the AR stage, and then came back down for a second test and subsequent test where the whales shake out the paper hands. Okay, so we are still kind of early. But some people would ask, what if Ripple doesn't come back down to accumulate? Because the regulatory issues that have been haunting XRP is gone. There's still a possibility, and to explain it with the Wyckoff method is that besides the initial FOMOs, the buying climax, the upthrust, meaning the peak after the FOMO, but looking at this, the volume was actually lower. There is also a stage, what we called, or in Wyckoff method, called the upthrust after distribution, that the price shoot up even higher than the previous highs. For me, I interpret that, or my focus isn't what's the name of it, but the actual behavior or the psychology of people in the market. To me, these are all subsequent tests. Okay, whether it's upthrust or upthrust of the distribution, or you call that a second test, it's just other tests. It's the same thing as this paper hands, diamond hands test in the accumulation cycle. It's like, say in Star Wars, you've got Sith and Jedi, right? That's the same thing, like two sides of a coin. Whether the price is at a low or whether the price is at a crazy high, it doesn't matter. It's basically the whales are testing the market. If there are more people willing to buy in this case, they will continue to offload bit by bit to maximize their profit. Likewise, if there are people willing to sell during the lows, they will scoop in bit by bit, not to push the high price crazily high. Okay, let it continue to stay around at a similar level, just for them to absorb whatever are willing to sell. Okay, so that's what it is. So back to here. If this is really entering the accumulation, we talked about it. We are going to see the subsequent stages. If it is going to get into, or if XRP hasn't finished the distribution and is welcoming another peak, there's an explanation to it as well. Okay, we have to have quite a lot of reasons for that. In the case of Ripple, is mainly payment or fintech infrastructure based narrative, let's put it this way. It has to have a lot of things lining up. Okay, good news, I say, that allows it to have this kind of FOMO, at least for a month or two, for the price to build up to that level. Let's say the payment world is accepting more crypto infrastructure, and they're testing it, maybe having POCs, having the very first transactions, production transactions conducted, all that. And then the liquidity environment improves, the private credit risks disappeared all of a sudden, the Middle East issue improved, even the aftermath, like the shortage of fertilizers or whatever materials, chemicals, rare earths, all get sorted, and the stock market doesn't crash. When everything comes together, all the good stars line up, then that's what drives the people FOMO in. Okay, if any of those uncertainties still persist, or when the majority of the world finally get to know all the issues that are coming, that are starting to realize, to feel the pressure of the price of the consumer sentiments going down, nobody's buying anything, and the company's profits are going to drop, then that's when the pessimistic scenario will happen. Okay? So, next one, Stellar. Start with the micro. Few days back, it finally broke outside of the downtrend. So that's the thing I mentioned during the XRP daily chart. We are waiting for this kind of confirmation to come in. XRP is still within the channel. Okay, it has been trading sideways, but in this case for Stellar, it has clearly exited the channel itself. Let's look at this, right? It started July 2025. Go all the way for, 9 months roughly, almost getting to a full year. Okay, it's fortunate that it is not dropping even further all the way into July this year. So having this, right now it tested 2 days ago. It tested the 0.172 purple key level, and then finding a little bit of resistance, but the selling wasn't that strong. However, it's also weekend. So when Asia wakes up a few hours later, we'll see what's going to happen. Is it going to do the same thing that it has done during 17th of March and 25th of March, 2 times in a row in 2 weeks, and actually even earlier in mid-Feb, and then come back down to this yellow line? That's the 1.47. 0.147 level. So 14 cents 70 all the way to 17 cents 20. That has been the range for the past 2 months. Okay? If this is really going up, let's say we have this support line, that's the rate of ascent, lining up the base of these candles, the bases of the candles. Pretty steep, okay, almost 90 degrees compared to the good channel, but never mind. As long as the price gets the support and then bounce along this line, by the time we get to, okay, April 13th, we said there's a chance for it to break out, and when we get to closer to that day, it happened. So let's move this to measure this instead. That's around 2nd of May. Assuming it is still going to go up. Okay, that's the positive scenario. All right. And then if it is still the base case, meaning trading sideways, then we already know the range. Okay. If it ever falls through this uptrend support, that's going back to the norm for at least for the past 2 months. All right. From a big picture perspective, it is fine during this transition from the for both the transition from distribution to accumulation or the reaccumulation stage in the distribution cycle, that it exhibits this kind of behavior. All right. So that's why you see sometimes it drop to a level, reaccumulate, and then shoot back up. But sometimes it does, especially if you look at the volume. When it's way lower than the previous formal period, the tendency of the price coming back down will be higher. Okay, if you see some sort of spike, may it be automatic rally, or the initial climb from the accumulation, check out the volume. If it stays low, that's just like you put gas into your car, right? If your fuel tank is low, you're not going to go too far, right? Just like treat this as a road, right? If your fuel tank, meaning the volume, is full, you probably are more comfortable to go even higher. Now, XCN, daily chart. Let's expand this. So, still sideways. I talked about this in the previous sessions. Once it's confirmed that the sideways trend continues, instead of starting a new downtrend, breaking this level of 0.0046, and it is still finding support. Despite a couple of other altcoins, if you look at these, they are recovering for all these payment and fintech infrastructure, but not everybody is staying horizontal or going up. Some of the altcoins did come down in the past week. So it's a good sign, I would say, at least, given the situation of the world, such messy situation, it has been staying above this 0.0046 for 18 days. So the question is, given the volume starting to climb up even over the weekend, I'm excited to see what's going to come, because the US figures has mostly been released. Believe this focus will shift back to the war situation, and also the new Fed chair is going to come in. All these are going to be the next move, triggering the next move of XCN. But looking at this from early February, or even end of Jan, the range between 4.0046 all the way to 0.063 is still the base case. If we ever get a spike in XCN, just focus on the fuel tank, the volume, okay? If the fuel tank is going up, it's being refilled like this, people keep injecting fuel into this, obviously the chance we see a sign of strength is getting higher. And I mentioned before, in order to confirm as a sign of strength, at least it has to come to challenge the range where the automatic rarely tested. For the case of XCN, is 0.0096 all the way to 0.0120. The orange key level all the way to the green key level over here. For the case of XLM, it hasn't shown up yet, so we need a bit of time to tell. For XRP, same case. They are both still very early in the accumulation cycle, not like XCN. So when we look at different altcoins, we have to take into consideration of these stages as well. But okay, looking at these figures that are coming out in May, that would be another round of fluctuations or testing by the whales. If you're interested to access these sessions 2 days earlier, like the other members, join the channel membership now, and the dashboards that help you avoid FOMO and panic is now available on Substack at SLS. See you in the next video. Thank you.